Hey guys, it's Comics G-Man here again. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to get back into the Wonder Woman series by Tom King. And let me tell you, this is another series that took a huge dive down into the sewers. This is a series that, well, quite frankly, would look better if I flushed it down my toilet along with my turds. Hey Deesh, how you doing? This is my Doji. Hey Doge, how you doing? Alright, now, let me get into what I wrote down about issue number 14, okay guys? Hold on here. So, I wrote down for issue number 14, I said I hate to give this such a low score, because Saint-Pierre's art, Danielle Saint-Pierre, is truly beautiful. But I have to do it because this story in this issue was all over the place. I was left totally confused and frustrated again, telling the narrator, the blue box that keeps narrating through the story, who is the sovereign villain, I keep telling him in my head to shut the fuck up. Constantly. I mean, it's like blah, 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 blah with this story. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop at all with this sovereign guy. So then I said, Steve Trevor is killed just because. There's a part where he's talking to the Sovereign, right? And the Sovereign, I don't even remember what he says. They're in the office, and the Sovereign just pulls out a gun, and he fucking blows Steve away. He kills him with the gun. He just shoots him in the chest, and that's the end of Steve Trevor, just like that. Barely put up a fight, barely did anything with Wonder Woman. Steve is dead, because it's fucking ridiculous. Then I wrote here, I said the only satisfaction you get from this particular issue is you see that Wonder Woman, she makes her daughter Elizabeth, right? She doesn't give natural birth to her, so they're going for the the literal. They make these Amazons, or the special ones like this, out of clay. So she makes her daughter Elizabeth out of clay with her hair. With Diana uses her hair, and she uses a piece of Steve. I don't know. I guess she uses a piece of his hair or something. I forgot. And so then that creates their daughter Elizabeth. She now has an infant. She has a baby with her now, Wonder Woman. That was nice, but frankly, I think this issue would have been better if it had a good writer and less dialogue boxes taking up so much space and unnecessary attention. I thought King was improving, but this issue proves otherwise. And don't get me started on the disjointed... Oh, and you know what this issue does that was really fucking annoying? You know what Tom King does that's really fucking annoying with this guy? He can't have a consistent good story, right? So you know what he has to do? He has to be like, day 3, this happened. And then he goes to, well, here's day 50 of this story. And then he goes back to day 6. And then he goes back to day 41, day 42, day 5, day 2, day 1. This is all over the place. I remember when I was reading this, I had a goddamn headache. Like, and look, it's not even good, man. Like, a book wouldn't even be that ridiculously disjointed. It would make some sense. This guy is overdoing it because he's trying to act like he's so goddamn intelligent. Like he's such a great storyteller. But I argue he isn't. He's a horrible storyteller. He's fucking annoying. And screw him. Screw the guy. I'm just trying to get Rosie in here, but she's just, she's too far away. She's laying on the ground right now. She's looking at me. Let me show you what she's up to right now. Rosie, say hello. Say hello. Look. Ah, she's like, why are you just talking about comics, bro? Don't you got anything else to do? Yeah, I do, but I'm not playing video games on my spare time. I'm doing this on my spare time. I'm enjoying this right now. She's getting her belly rub. I'm giving her the belly rub as I'm talking. But yeah, let me go back to my bullshit here. Alright, where was I? Let me move this up a little bit. Yeah. Alright, so anyway, let me go to issue number 15. Oh boy, yeah. I mean, these are hard to read through, man. I'm telling you. And I gave issue number 14 a 1, and I gave issue number 15 a 1 out of 10. This is just headache-inducing garbage. The Sovereign is the worst villain ever created. He never shuts up. But like most of these comics are like taken over by these blue dialogue boxes, and which is the Sovereign narrating. It's mostly consisted of the Sovereign blah 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 blahing throughout the entire series. From issues 1 to 10, and now after the by the way, we skipped issue 12, 13, and 14 because those are Absolute Power tie-ins that are trash, and Absolute Power is trash. I didn't want to waste my time reading any of that garbage. This is garbage too, but I only gave it a chance because I like Wonder Woman, and I just had to do it for her. That's about it. But back to what I wrote here. I said, Tom King is an ass. People were not joking when they told me that his writing and his books are bad. But seeing this for myself, he is worse than I thought. Absolutely unbearable writing, and the art is too good for such crap writing. I would give this a higher score just for the art, but that would be lying to myself. The writing alone ruins any good aspect of this series so far. Yeah, I mean, it's just they should have ended it with the Sovereign at issue 11 instead, but it just keeps going on. But you know what? Someone wrote a pretty good explanation here that reflects what I felt about it here. This guy on the review site is called Year of the Collector, and what he gave it a 7. He gave number 15 a 7. I think that's too nice. I think a 1 is just fine, but his reasons for not liking it are still valid. He says here, I feel like as far as the conflict goes, the Wonder Gals did turn the tide with this assault. However, the facts this coordinated attack was thanks to the intel Trevor gave Diana just makes it all hollow. None of this supposed exchange of intelligence between Trevor and Diana was shown to take place. Comics are a visual medium, after all. I understand there are stories not told that happen between panels, but this doesn't feel earned. It's like we've been given a bone in exchange for the death of Steve Trevor. Not only that, but King uses the Wonder Gals to break the law and commit crimes in plain daylight. That does not feel right. You mean to tell me no heroes would interfere in this? No one would say anything to any of these Amazons? And you mean to tell me they're okay with Cheetah mauling a man? Right. I wouldn't dare to critique Sempier and Maury's work, but this issue is not a alright, so what he's talking about with the Wonder Gals, so they're doing all these things to take down the Sovereign and his secret club or whatever. They're robbing banks, they're robbing this, they're doing this crime. Cheetah literally goes after one of his I think she goes after the Sovereign's lawyer, and she fucking mauls him. She doesn't kill him, but she disfigures him and stuff, I guess. And he's right. They wouldn't be okay with her doing that. And he's also right that the superheroes that aren't in on the Wonder Gals operations, they don't know that they're going after the Sovereign. They wouldn't just let them rob banks and do all these crimes if they don't know the reason for it. But they just go about doing these things without any interference at all. It didn't make any sense. He was absolutely right about that. All right, so let's go on to Wonder Woman issue number 16. I say a little more about this here. I got more to say. I say here, I gave it a 2 out of 10. Not horrible, like before. Writing was at least bearable and digestible this time around. King is not consistent at all with his themes, going from Wonder Woman being tortured in solitary confinement by the Sovereign, to being in a jungle to find Cheetah, to then creating a baby with clay and sand, to now having a chimp investigating Sovereign and helping Clark Kent exposed to the world who Sovereign is. Talk about all over the place thematically speaking. Yeah, literally this comic just introduces randomly Detective Chimp. and Detective Chimp is like talking to Sovereign and asking him questions and investigating a missing thing or whatever. Oh my god, Tom King is horrible. Horrible. The only cool part about the Chimp, Detective Chimp, is how he actually is the Spectre. We only see the Spectre pop up, and he pops his face out like in one panel of the entire comic, and then we never see the Spectre ever again. The Spectre doesn't show up anywhere else in this Wonder Woman run. So what the hell was the point of Detective Chimp? What was this? What was that all about? Like, who wrote that? I know Tom King wrote it, but he's a retard. I was unfortunately correct in my prediction early on that the Sovereign's motivation is lame and as simple as he's a sexist, mean white guy because his father, who was king before, wanted Sovereign's sister to become next heir to their secret society. And the Sovereign murdered his father to prevent a, quote, a woman from taking his rightful place. Yeah, I'm a sexist old man. That's all this is about. Sexism and I'm white. That's the villain's motivation. Wow. Oh, I could have saw that coming 5,000 miles away. That's the big deal. Not the fact that America has been under the secret control of some secret society using a black lasso of lies going all the way back to our founding fathers, which in itself is a stupid idea. Like, why wouldn't you need to have someone tied to the lasso the whole time to be under their control? Isn't that how the lasso of truth works? Like when Diana wraps you around with her lasso of truth, right? She makes you tell the truth and stuff. But once she takes the lasso off, the effects wear off, right? Like she can't, now that she touched you with the lasso of truth, she can't influence you and make you tell the truth the rest of your life, right? So how the fuck does the lasso of lies work like that? It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. Like all it is just the antithesis to the lasso of truth. So what are you doing here? It doesn't make any sense. Anyone who has some knowledge of American history will laugh at what Tom King is doing because this premise at one point puts it as, quote, the Sovereign had the founding fathers believe they were running a democracy when they weren't. I say this is retarded because the founding fathers ended up pretty fractured on what their vision for America was. Hello, Federalist, Anti-Federalist, Jefferson's vision against Hamilton's vision of, Jefferson had limited government. We could all argue about what he thought, blah, blah, blah. And Hamilton wanted pretty much to federalize everything and have the big banks run all of us. And, Jefferson that was against the idea of us having big banks running everything because he warned us that in the future the men will not own anything because big banks will own everything. And I think he was correct, but the only thing is Hamilton's vision won out, unfortunately, and Jefferson's vision was petered out and pissed on. Jefferson's vision didn't win out in the end, but I would prefer Jeffersonian visions, but it didn't work out. But anyway, I said here, and Jefferson and John Adams going head to head over the Alien and Sedition Act. So none of the founding fathers were like on board all the time. And secondly, John Adams being fervently against any idea of democracy because of what was unfolding in France at the time. You know, Tom King, the French Revolution. Do you know about that? I'm sure you do. Probably the basic bullshit. He viewed democracy, John Adams viewed democracy as mob rule. You can find this in his letters or also in the biography written by David McCullough. John Adams was against the idea of democracy. He thought it was mob rule. Or as Benjamin Franklin would say, democracy is where the wolves are at the dinner table and the sheep and them vote on what they're going to eat for dinner. That kind of thing. There are so many examples of this, from James Madison and many other founding fathers. To just generally paint all of the founders as if they believed in a democracy is treating your viewers like historical illiterates, or maybe Tom King is historically illiterate. Democratic Republic, Representative Republic, yada yada yada, but democracy was not the accepted word. It was barely even uttered from their lips. You know, everybody today throws around the word democracy, 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 but hardly have you don't find them using those words back in the 1800s. Really started after the Industrial Revolution, and things became more industrialized and more mathematical, where we started throwing around the word democratic, democracy, and it came from the Marxian bullshit and all that. You know, everybody uses this word democracy so loosely, but it's kind of hard to agree when you read into these things that it's democracy is what everybody says it is. So I said the art is still great, but Tom King just sucks. Issue number 17. I gave it a 2 out of 10. I wrote down, I said, I can't believe how soft all the reviewers are rating these issues. This should be considered false advertising, because not counting the horrid absolute power tie-ins, most of this series has been narrated through the perspective of the worst villain ever conjured in comics, the Sovereign. Wonder Woman is just an afterthought in her own solo series. It's extremely disgraceful. I tried being patient through issues 1 to 11, and they weren't even that bad. But since 14, issue number 14, it just keeps dragging on and on. I hope they finally end it or something with Sovereign in the next issue. Rarely do we get anything from Diana except some blurbs and obvious things, nothing to really make you feel like you're alongside Wonder Woman here. I hate that I have to experience this story through the Sovereign's eyes and narration. I was happy to see Diana talk a little bit in this to her baby and make a sculpt of Steve at some point. Yes, she makes like a statue in honor of Steve Trevor. But Jesus, that's all we get. Pathetic. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Issue number 18, I gave it a 2 out of 10 also. I said, Diana has been reduced to a female Arnold Schwarzenegger action hero who just blurbs meaningless phrases that might sound okay. All this work and dialogue for the Sovereign, and no detail given to the main attraction, Wonder Woman Diana. Total yawn fest this issue, and frankly, it just dawned on me. Why the hell would Darkseid's daughter be helping the Sovereign? Grail, his daughter Grail? Let alone take orders from this guy. There has been no good explanation that I'm aware of on why the daughter of Darkseid would be a bodyguard to a mere mortal asshole, and a horribly written asshole as well. This low rating, I have to keep saying for the record, is not about the art. The art is phenomenal, but I just can't let go. King has dropped the ball so hard on Diana. Let me see. Alright, so then issue number 19. I actually read the Trinity special after this, but I'm going to save that for when I just talk about the Trinity issues. And we're just going to go straight to Wonder Woman issue 19. I'm not even going to waste too much more time. Issue number 19, I said, all I have to say is the Sovereign exposition finally over? Oh, and what am I supposed to be excited for? That apparently Wonder Woman is killed in the future by Lysa during Trinity's time? A Wonder War? Oh wow, so interesting. Not. Yeah, like so, in this comic, the Sovereign, I guess, is defeated, blah blah blah. And like, it's not even interesting how she defeats him and everything and outsmarts him. It's so boring. And then we get excerpts of her daughter Trinity when she's old enough talking to the Sovereign in his jail cell in the Amazon. In Themyscira. And she's talking to him, and we find out that in her time period, Wonder Woman was killed during a Wonder War with the Amazons, led by Lysa, who was the daughter of the woman, the Amazon, who killed all those men in a bar early on in the story. It's really fucking stupid. And let's see, number 20. Let me see, number 20. I gave it a 6. I gave number 20 a 6, but that's because number 20 now, it's starting over. There's a different story. I said for number 20 is much better than what was going on previously, but this is probably a break and that's it. It was a nice moment between Diana and Bruce, I thought, when he was injured from Zeus's lightning bolt. Tom King is still a horrible, overbloated writer, but the change of story, setting, and art made it a bit more bearable for me to get through. Finally, Diana speaks plenty in this, even if it feels like she's got a chip on her shoulder throughout a good amount of it. Better than the blurbs and grunts of previous arc. So yeah, in issue number 20, there's like a mystery that's going on in the Olympia, in the heavens where the gods and goddesses are. And they want to execute Diana's mother they're blaming her for murdering Ares in his sleep. Clearly she didn't do it, but Wonder Woman is trying to figure out who did it, so what does she do? She brings Batman along to help investigate and find out who did it. It's kind of stupid. The only good thing that comes out of this is at one point, Batman gets injured by a bolt of Zeus, a lightning bolt, and Batman and Diana are talking to each other. And you know what? It's worth enough to even read about. They're talking to each other, right? So Batman is laying down on his bed, knocked out, barely made it from the lightning bolt. And he says, well, I'm glad they're looking into it. A joke from the Batman, Wonder Woman says. I joke. I have a fine sense of humor. Do you? She asks. You're not exactly a barrel of laughs, he says to her. At least I smile, she responds. Clark smiles. You glow. This is another joke? Can I tell you a secret? Bruce says to her. He says to Wonder Woman, you asked me about God. I lied. He isn't in the alley. I wasn't raised with much religion, but I felt as a boy that there was something good above us. And then my parents, they were so kind and they died while I watched. What kind of God would do that? I knew. There is nothing above us but sky. Then I met you, and you were kind like mother and father come again. Diana, after knowing you, I went home and looked up and I prayed. So I like that. But you know what? That's only one fucking page of the comic that I liked. So I guess I was a little generous giving it a 6, but I just like the little tit for tat that Diana and Bruce have in these couple of issues here. And it's the same thing with issue number 21. And issue number 21 sucked. It was stupid. You know what? I'm even going to go back and I'm going to read that too. Alright, so Bruce is recovering a little bit after this injury. Let me just start here at page 7, I think? Yeah. Alright, so he says there, you did well. He said more with anger than he would lie. That was just when she was trying to find out who really killed Ares. Whatever. What are you doing? Lay down and rest. I'm a superhero. I don't rest. Then lie down and bring justice to the innocent, as long as you do it with your eyes closed. You jest, but I puzzled together 3 seemingly unrelated cases today. When I get back, Enigma's going to have a tough night. I wish to ask you something. I hope I will not offend. I let Dick choose his own outfit, who knew he'd go full circus. You are only a man. You fight the fight of gods. Why? I told you to lie down. I know. Come here, please, rest for a moment. I'm a superhero. I don't rest. So that's the only. Tom King is still lame. We know they're superheroes. We don't need them to tell us that, Tom King. The thing about Colonel Trevor, what I most remember about him from seeing him in whatever headquarters we all were sharing, when some of the heroes, guys, or one of the stretchy ones, when they would tease him about being just a man dating the Wonder Woman, he always had this one answer. He'd say, the only difference between me and her is I love her more than the stars and she loves me more than the earth. The world is full of gods, Diana, from Clark to Zeus. In the middle of all that nonsense, I just try to be as good a man as I can, as did he. So, like, that was good. I like that little dialogue with Diana and Bruce. That is the only memorable thing from these comics. Oh my god. Issue number 22 is where it's like fucking retarded now. I gave it a 1. I said, are you kidding me? Seriously? You're gonna go back in time to have more Sovereign? I thought we were done with that. And having a nice insurrection having a mouse insurrection at the White House. Haha, so funny. Yeah, literally in this issue, there's like these giant mice and other little mice. They take over the White House and Diana has to stop them. And the leader of the mice, the mouse man, he's like in the White House sitting on there. Like, it's obviously Tom King is talking about the insurrection of January, like in 2021. And the mouse man is supposed to be like that fucking horns guy that everybody talks about. And it's like, really? Even just talking about it is making me like, what a waste of Wonder Woman. This is the most creative you could get with her. Alright, and let me go to issue number 23. I gave it a 1. I said, oh my god, is King having a mental breakdown or something here? Thankfully, most of this comic, the dialogue consists of Mouseman knows! Mouseman knows! So I was able to finish this comic in less than a fraggin' minute. Retarded. Garbage. I don't have anything to say. It's literally the entire comic is like this, these people living under the dictates of Mouseman, and the only language they speak is, I'm not even kidding you, they all just keep saying the same thing. Mouseman knows. Mouseman knows. Throughout the entire comic. Oh my god, what are they doing? They pay people to write this? Jesus. And lastly, issue number 24. God, are we almost done yet? Yes, I'm almost done. I say here at issue number 24, Tom King doesn't know. Tom King doesn't know how to write a good story. Yet another piece of trash to add to this series run. And you know what? I know Diana is Wonder Woman, but there's something ridiculous about her carrying a baby while fighting and getting shot at. I don't even picture her mother doing this kind of nonsense. I am done giving thoughtful explanations for this series. Clearly, DC does not take Wonder Woman seriously. My god, why is Tom King on this for so long? Yeah, I don't have any words to say how fucking stupid this series got. You see for yourself. No, in fact, I'll tell you, don't fucking waste a dime. Don't fucking open a comic by Tom King. Don't even look at this shit. It is garbage. Anybody who says it's not is fooling you, lying to you, or they're just deluded and they just don't want to admit how bad this series was. But yeah, that's enough of Wonder Woman. I'm tired. If you guys enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.